Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. I'm Evil Mike. This is going to be my review on comics that were released on August 18th, 2021. Get straight into it, but first up, Marvel, we got The Trials of Magneto, issue number 1. Um, I really just dug the cover. I am reading one of just X-Men right now, so I kind of was scared picking this up, but honestly, it was a really good read. I mean, in a nutshell, it's kind of simple to break down what's going on, but you just have to know at the Hellfire Gala, at the end of it, it revealed that somehow, some way, Scarlet Witch was killed, and going from that right there, we have. Like basically, I think it's X Factor, and they show up with like Wolverine and Draken and X-23 and North Star, and basically it's like they're investigating the murder. They're kind of piecing it back together, using the three Wolverines to kind of smell around, and we see that they do have Scarlet Witch's body, and it is back at Krakoa in some kind of it's supposed to be like a healing pod, but something is in the haywire. They have like another team that is actually doing an autopsy on her body while she is in this pod, and they are really like, figuring out the gist of it. And at this time, it is revealed that the way she was killed, because it's at first it's come up that she was snuck up and basically strangled and taken to the ground, that she did fight back, but later is revealed that it wasn't someone that grabbed her, that there was some kind of metallic object that was holding her back, and she was trying to fight against the metallic object. Of course, in the X-Men universe, we do know that there is a master of metal. So of course, back at the Council of Krakoa and Magneto being on the council, I am really confused because I see Mr. Sinister is among the council. He has always been a villain, and so that's kind of odd. But we do have Magneto throwing a temper tantrum, trying to, and in my eyes, in the right way, but he's trying to resurrect his daughter. They're making it seem like, because they are also getting news that Scarlet, in the way that Scarlet Witch was killed, that all signs are kind of leading to Magneto, and they find it strange that he is trying to get, Scarlet Witch resurrected, and he feels like he's trying to cover up that he killed her. Reading this, it doesn't feel like that. It feels like a setup, that it's set up to look like Magneto is the bad guy, but of course, them being in that world, all the evidence kind of points in Magneto's fashion. Magneto even goes to the point on threatening the council and, maybe disbanding and leaving the council, and they still take a vote. Everybody, it's like basically like 3-7 like that, and he is not happy with the vote. He even attacks Charles to the point where, he's bleeding basically. They show him like bleeding from his noggin and his head and everything. Basically, Magneto takes off at that point. He is greeted by the main X-Force, some of X-Men, Factor, Force, and they start questioning him, and he just basically says that he doesn't have to answer to any of their questions. And we find out later on that Scarlet Witch has been like cocooned in that kind of stasis pod that she was in. We also see that around the world that it is getting out that Scarlet Witch is dead, and they see the Vision learning of her death, and that might become involved later on. They do show that the X-Men that approached Magneto start, trying to force him to talk about it, and of course breaks out in a battle. He does this whole, stick and spiel with Wolverine, saying he never learns and this and that, but yet, Draken does not have the metal, so he quickly sneaks up and stabs Magneto. They do show that Magneto is prepared for that and has made using the minerals out of both of their bodies, makes like a porcupine, basically, kind of thing. Eventually Polaris shows up, being the daughter of Magneto as well, and master of magnetism. They kind of tiptoe and fight, and Polaris kind of shows up to Dad, and Magneto still, basically, out of all his children, he still claims that she's the least trained, and he shows her, he beats her down and scares her. The rest of the X-Men eventually do accomplish and take Magneto into custody, and I guess they take him back to Krakoa. Then after that, they do show that basically they do show some other people mourning Scarlet Witch, like the evil hood of the what is it, the Brotherhood of Mutants, with Toad and Quicksilver, and of course Scarlet Witch being an original member. They do reveal at the very end that what we see from Scarlet Witch might not be so true. She might not be dead. It looks like she's going through this another kind of maybe a cocoon stage or something like that. But it was a really good read, especially I'd heard some reviews and it didn't get bad reviews, but it was but I really enjoyed it. I love the art, the story. It was pretty good. In the beginning it had this whole X Factor Force, X-Men kind of bickering thing, but it didn't last long, so it was good. Next up from Image Comics, we have Nocterra number 6, and this is I think the end of the main arc as it's stated. We are kind of gone back to this previous with Val, and she's recalling the big blackout and what it looked like, and she was talking about the human shades were the most dangerous, and she said it even was like they were designed to kill us, that their skin was like all this glass that was like heated, and now it was like extremely sharp, and it was just, she describes this sound, and it sounds a lot like shh, and basically it just, everything it touched, it just minced meat. We go back to the present storyline as she's finding out that this guy's a bad guy, and all along that the Blacktop, has been working for Tiberius, his brother. I think his name is something or other. I'm bad with names. But she's trying to creep up with him, and we see that the security force detains her, and she's basically like, look, I'm going to leave. It's time to go. And it's revealed that he's not going to allow that to happen. He's going to pull the whole, bad guy stick and snuff everybody out. She pleads to just let them go. But they do the whole, they have to fight back, and that Val, M, and I forget the little girl's name, but they quickly escape out of the facility. Well, it's kind of cool how they do it, but they release the human shades this guy had prisoner there, because they were like studying him and trying to learn their communication. The brother, he is looking for this book, and he has found it. It's not going to come to much, though, because the human shades are released and they go crazy in this compound. They are Val and M and the little girl, they use this opportunity to escape out of the facility while this is happening. They show at the very end that the twin brother was able to make it out of the facility too, and stop and be like, no, you're not going anywhere, I'm a super villain, I'm going to do this little speech, and he doesn't recognize, but behind him is his very own twin brother in shade form that ends up killing him, so that's why the book goes to nothing. They end up with the evil twin brother on their tracks. They make it to the truck, it's out of gas, but they are on a hill, and they kind of like pushing it up where it starts rolling while it's in manual, and they have all the human shades and everybody after them. Luckily at the very end we see that they are saved by a whole other crew, and this whole other crew brought a whole convoy and everything, but they brought a super powered light, and she states that this is the first time that she saw the light since the big PM. And that's kind of where this issue takes off. She basically right here it says miles left to go, resetting, and we see here that yeah, Bill, or Blacktop Bill, I think his name is the bad guy, and he was trying to get this tongue artifact that was mentioned in the book, and it looks like while all this was going on, and he was able to track that down. Why he wants it because it somehow it would allow him to talk and communicate with these shades. We'll have to find out when Volume 2 is released. Issue number 7. I don't know how they're going to do it, but hopefully it's going to come soon because Nocterra has been amazing. Next up from DC Comics, we got Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, issue number 3/8. I always warn everybody about this comic, but it is a very worded comic. It is an excellent story, and the art is just beyond phenomenal. I love the art in this book so much. This one is basically, I won't say it's a filler, because this whole book has been, Supergirl and this little girl that, she has hired Supergirl to find somebody that killed her parents. His name is like Kree, the crazy, or something like that. Kree, the criminal. But she is after Kree. We're just gonna call him that. And again, I'm bad with names. Fight me all you want in the comments. But they are on the search for Kree, and they stop off at this planet. She's in kind of like I guess like the mayor's office or something, and they're kind of blowing off Supergirl, and she keeps asking these questions. Hey, have you seen Kree? Supposedly he came to this planet, and that's the reason we're here. He still is like, I'm busy. The restroom's over there. They do show over here that Supergirl at this point is starting to get some of her powers back, because she is getting closer to yellow suns. At the beginning of the story, she was on a birthday hiatus where she was as far away from a yellow sun as she could get, because she wanted to have a normal birthday without any powers. So like the first 2 books, she really didn't have her powers a whole lot until like the end of the second issue. So she's starting to get, but basically this whole thing is they're going through this town, and they're following through with the investigation. The whole book is set up through the eyes of the little girl, and she is retelling the story, because it is far in the future when she is telling us this story. She is evidently aged, and she's kind of just going off some of the notes, like what it was to fly with Superwoman, or when Superwoman was in espionage mode, like right here when she was trying to find a certain suspect, and what it was like to just sit and wait on those long, but it's basically a story set up like that. There are moments of heroic and different signs that she sees. She sees that the Supergirl is not always that she is not always patient, that most times, on this trip, that she was more impatient than not. She was also just as brave as all the stories tell her, because there was this moment while this little girl is sleeping, and all of a sudden all these meteors start blasting, and it is later revealed that it is these guys that are trying to get Supergirl to leave. It wasn't meteors at all, they were shooting. And that's kind of where the main plot of the story finally starts to take get some meat to it, because we find out all these blue guys are really covering up something, and now Supergirl is finally starting to find out what they are hiding. She finally shows that she's not messing around. Another first for the girl, because she hasn't seen Supergirl really angry with her powers. Again, Supergirl showing the girl that she can fly again, because she wasn't able to do that before. But we get amazing art with and she's flying with the little girl, and I think the little girl's name is Pan. I think so, but I might be wrong. But eventually she does track down what really happened, and she finds out that it was this intergalactic kind of space pirates that came to this planet, and they're known to going planet to planet, and basically when they do, they just rape and pillage the planet, and they leave and they go to the next place. They came here, they met with the blue people, and at one time there used to be blue and purple people, the blue people were more conniving and more attuned to money, when the purple people were more, poor and more peaceful, peaceful scene. So they strike a deal with Krem, the criminal, as shown here, because he was on this planet in a holding cell for committing some bad stuff. And the blue people basically allow him to leave jail, and they allow him to massacre the purple people. In Supergirl's investigation, she kind of finds all this out, and basically at the end of the story, she after finding out that the blue people massacred this whole other race of people, and the reason they did it was to make sure that the space pirates did not kill them, that they didn't come for no reason, because they felt like if they didn't give them something, that the whole planet would be annihilated type thing. So that's why they came up with the plan to release Krem and allow him to just go on a killing spree. Supergirl, evidently not liking this at all, and taking it to the highest official, even though he does try to fight back, but for nothing. And at the very end, we just see a touching moment with both the little girl and Supergirl, and basically, Supergirl stating that she's not going to give up, that they are going to find this bad guy, Krem, and we do find out that Krem was picked up by the space pirates, and he is now traveling with them on to their next destination, where they plan on doing some more dastardly deeds. Next up for Marvel, we have MoonKnight #2, and I will say right from the get-go, it confused the heck out of me. Not to say this was a confusing book, but and I'll get to my point in a second. It was actually a very fun, amazing book. The art is stellar, the story is excellent. It starts out and it just shows this guy, and he's being protected by this mob of people. I thought it was like vampires or something like that, and it kind of looks like that, but they're all like stating the same thing, and they're all stating this because I want to sport for the hell of it. This is the scene that I will talk about that was confusing, because this book started out and it was about MoonKnight, and he started this whole new church thing where he's protecting the neighborhood, and that's basically the catch up from the first issue of this one. But they did mention that he got this new assistant named Reese, and all of a sudden she is a vampire. I don't remember her becoming a vampire. I don't remember her eating Vit. So if anybody knows how or can correct me, maybe she was a vampire to begin with, but I thought that was kind of weird, because I did not remember her being a vampire, and all of a sudden they're just focusing the hell on it, because like here, they are shown that she is like drinking blood, and at one point, somebody walks in with blood, like right here, and she takes off like, oh God, blood, I gotta get out of here, or I'll eat this guy. So that was kind of new and confusing. The rest of the book was wonderful, and not to say that that bothered me or anything. I thought that was weird that was not explained or showcased in the first issue, especially because I think the first issue was her first appearance. Anywho, this guy comes into his church and basically asks him for his protection, and sends him on his merry way with some clues to where he might find said problem. MoonKnight, especially being the high chancellor of this religion and everything, and being a protector of the neighborhood, takes it upon himself to find out what the heck's going on, and he does go to the apartment to investigate, and it's quickly revealed that it was all a trap. That there is this janitor guy, shown right here, and we're just going to call him Janitor Phil, because I don't know if he says his name, but Janitor Phil has the ability that if anybody touches or drinks his sweat, he can control them. Like somehow he has this psychic link to their brain, and he can basically puppeteer them. That's why in the first scenes everybody was spouting the same thing, kind of thing. And basically, and revealed here that the original guy that even brought him was even being puppeteered, that MoonKnight it was all part of the trap, and MoonKnight is soon going to become one of these puppets. MoonKnight offers a different, attack, because MoonKnight says that he could easily just, kill everybody there. They're already under his control, and he can slit his throat and be on his merry way. Everybody else will be protected, but he will fail all these people that are there right now. So he comes up with another plan on allowing the guy to take some of his sweat, and MoonKnight will specifically taste it, and he will become a puppet on his own. And MoonKnight states if his will is strong enough, kind of thing. We see that janitor Phil takes the wrong, that basically his willpower is not strong enough, and in the mind mixed with MoonKnight, he realizes that MoonKnight his mind has been touched and reconstructed by a god. The god Cthulhu, or I think that's how you pronounce it. If not, I'm sorry. No disrespect to the god of Cthulhu, but we do show that this janitor is quickly devoured by this MoonKnight Cthulhu, monster-looking thing that is inside his mind, and he basically shows him at the end that this thing kind of like he tucks away this guy's mind and soul, and never to be seen again. And they do show him in real life that this guy really is comatose. They show him kind of dead, and MoonKnight even states to the guy that brought him there, he's like, yeah, he's not coming back. He's alive, but yep, he's gonna stay like that for the rest of his. But he does end up saving all the tenants. He does end up going back, and there is kind of a cool little conversation between Reese, the new assistant, and MoonKnight, and she's apologizing for running out, with the blood, thing going on, and he's like, man, come on, you don't see what I'm dealing with. That's nothing new for me. You don't have to apologize. We do see here in the shadows that the other brother of the religion, and I can't remember what they're calling him, but he is watching and getting ready, and I'll show you what he looks like because his armor is badass. But they show him here that he is coming in the next episode, and they don't necessarily say that he is an enemy, but they do show him. They do say that he is going to teach and redefine, MoonKnight's lessons in that religion. Let me get another sip. I was all talked out there, guys. Last but not least, but I got Legend of the Dark Knight, number 4. This one I say, will say is a filler. It does have a first appearance. This guy right here. It's not a bad filler, but it was just kind of in between story, and it starts out in 1910, Gotham City, and we are with the Cobblepot family. And to a lot of people don't know, but the Wayne and Cobblepot family have been kind of intertwined over the years due to them both being wealthy families and some of the first families in Gotham. We are seeing that one of the Cobblepot meets his early demise here by this ghost-looking figure, and the ghost-looking figure ends up slipping away. They do jet to present day. They show here with Bruce, and of course the Penguin shows up, and they are auctioning different artifacts from the Cobblepot, treasure trove, let's just say, and it is sponsored by the Wayne Foundation. That's why Bruce Wayne and Alfred is there. Bruce Wayne and Cobblepot eventually get into a bid war over a box. It is later revealed that the box has a mystery inside it that is it has the true identity to that gray the ghost, the killer. And I want to see if I can find his name real quick so I can announce it, but I don't remember what they're. Oh, it is called like the Gray Wraith, I think they were calling it. And that's what I'm gonna call her for now. But inside that box, there is a mask, a note, and some clippings from an article. And Bruce quickly goes to town, trying to decipher the mystery behind the Gray Wraith. And they show present day that Penguin has brought thugs and is trying to, infiltrate the mansion. Alfred hops into the Batmobile, and he is on security patrol, and he eventually, very quickly takes out all of, the Penguin's like his gang is showed at the very bottom, that Penguin eventually kind of secretly, while that's going on, makes it into Wayne Manor. At the same time, Bruce is on a digital journey trying to figure out, and piece together all the clues. That part of the book is just amazing. I love how they do it. He goes through and he pieces. He's on one specific murder scene, and he's piecing together the current clues that he has and the past clues from the older detectives. He eventually does track down the Grey Wraith and follows where she eventually goes and finds out that it is a maid to one of the I can't remember if I think it's she was a maid from Cobblepot's estate that was like abused or something like that. She tried to go to Thomas Wayne to bring it to the authorities and was cast aside, and so she took matters into her own hands and became the Grey Wraith, and eventually started killing anybody that was a part of that situation, and felt like that's how she got justice. At that point, they do show that Bruce and Penguin are in the house, and Batman kind of shows up to rescue said Bruce Wayne. Penguin even kind of finds it weird that Bruce Wayne is even here. While this is going on, Batman does explain that he has already figured out everything, and that he needs to reveal the truth about the publicly about the maid and what both families did, that it would be for the better, that to honor, what the maid did and her efforts like that. And they do show that Bruce did bury her and honor her in a better way, and they do show that the ghost, it kind of sees that, or shows that, the ghost is kind of like, thanks buddy, you're the best, Batman, and like I said, it's just a filler. Kind of like a random story. The original Legends of the Dark Knight was a lot like this book. It was like random stories. They had ongoing stories, but for the most part it was like kind of like just random Batman stuff. While I have time before this thing cuts off, I did pick up a couple different books real quick, and I think I still have some time. I was able to get just a couple books, but I was able to get Redshift #1. And hopefully he might make an appearance on Spine Ticks coming soon. So I kind of like reading the books before I talk to said people. Of course, a review that I did recently, but Amistad #2, the new series by Warner Comics, and I loved the first issue, so I was so excited to. I actually had other books that I was going to get, and I set those the fuck down when I saw that book. Also, next door at Half Price Books, a series that I've been trying to get, the Batman, the Widening Gray. This is written by Kevin Smith, and it is also by Walter Flanagan. He's also one of the guys on Comic Book Men. It is a Batman series I've never gotten to read, and I finally have all the issues, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I already had 1, 2, 3, but I could never find 4, 5, 6, and they were just sitting there. I was like, heck yeah! You talk about like, one of my favorite Joker covers right there, man. So be looking out for a review on that too, and Amistad and Redshift. Alright guys, love y'all. I will see y'all later. I hope you enjoy these reviews. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and please, 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 go love a comic book person.